The sirens across Centauri Prime began their mournful wail at 300 Earth Standard Time. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood at the colony's Defense Command Center, watching as the impossible materialized on her quantum imaging displays. The void above their world had torn open, disgorging vessels that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. Multiple contacts, size classification beyond established parameters. Lieutenant James Chen reported, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. No match to any known signatures in the database. Elena had trained for first contact scenarios throughout her 15-year career with the Colonial Defense Force, but this wasn't following any of the projected protocols. These ships weren't broadcasting identification or attempting communication. They were moving with predatory precision toward Centauri Prime's orbital defense grid. Status of the civilian evacuation, she demanded, eyes fixed on the approaching vessels. Underground shelters at 70% capacity, her XO, Commander David Walsh, responded. But Captain, these readings don't make sense. The ships are generating some kind of biological field. Our sensors can't get a lock on their hull composition. The first attack came without warning. It wasn't energy weapons or kinetic projectiles that breached Centauri Prime's defenses. Instead, the alien vessels released clouds of what looked like iridescent spores into the upper atmosphere. Where they touched the orbital platforms, metal and circuitry began to transform, taking on organic properties before dissolving completely. They're not destroying our technology, Dr. Sarah Patel, the station's lead xenobiologist, whispered in horror as she analyzed the readings. They're evolving it, forcing it to undergo rapid biological mutation. Elena watched as 3 centuries of human colonization began to unravel. The bioweapon, if that's what it was, didn't just target their defense systems. It sought out anything with complex technological components, converting silicon and steel into organic matter that quickly destabilized. Get me a direct line to Earth Command, Elena ordered. And someone tell me why our quantum entanglement communicator is still functioning when everything else is being transformed. The answer came from an unexpected source. As the alien vessels moved into lower orbit, they finally broadcast a message. It came through on all frequencies, translated automatically by their remaining systems. To the genetic anomaly designated as humanity, your existence represents an unprecedented threat. Your species carries dormant neural patterns that must not be allowed to fully manifest. This is not an extermination. It is pruning. The Dominion maintains order through biological purity. Dr. Patel's hands flew across her console, correlating data. Captain, the quantum entanglement systems are still working because they operate on principles that aren't purely technological. They rely on consciousness observation to function. Whatever these beings are, they're targeting our conventional technology, but can't affect systems that incorporate human neural patterns. Elena felt a chill run down her spine as the implications became clear. These aliens weren't just attacking their technology. They were attacking it because of how humans interface with it. Something about human consciousness itself threatened them. All personnel, fall back to quantum-shielded facilities, she commanded. Priority 1 is protecting the quantum research labs. If they're afraid of how our minds work with technology, those labs might be our only chance at fighting back. The next 12 hours became a desperate race against time. While the alien bioweapons consumed the colony's infrastructure, Elena coordinated the evacuation of key scientific personnel and data through the quantum entanglement network. The Dominion ships maintained their orbit, methodically releasing more of their transformative weapon. But they had made a crucial mistake. In their determination to eliminate humanity's technological base, they had revealed something fundamental about themselves. They were beings of pure biological evolution, seeing humanity's integration of technology and consciousness as an aberration. Captain, Dr. Patel called out from her station in the quantum-shielded bunker. I've been analyzing the composition of their bioweapon. It's not just breaking down our technology. It's trying to redirect our technological evolution toward purely organic paths. They want to force us to develop along their definition of natural lines. Elena watched through underground sensors as Centauri Prime's once mighty cities dissolved into organic compounds. But unlike the aliens' other victims, humanity had not simply accepted their technological regression. Already, she could see Dr. Patel and her team working to understand the very weapon being used against them. They think they're pruning us back to a safer form, Elena said, a grim smile forming on her face. But they don't understand human nature. We don't just use technology. We integrate with it, grow with it. And now they've shown us exactly what they're capable of. The quantum entanglement link to Earth Command finally stabilized. Elena took a deep breath before making her report. She knew that what she was about to say would change the course of human history. Earth Command, this is Captain Rodriguez at Centauri Prime. We are under attack by an advanced species calling themselves the Dominion. They possess weapons that convert technology into unstable organic matter. But more importantly, we know why they're attacking. Humanity's neural structure, our ability to merge consciousness with technology, terrifies them. They think they're containing a threat. She paused, looking at the data Dr. Patel's team had already collected on the bioweapons composition. They'd shown us their greatest weapons, believing we would be helpless to resist. Instead, they'd given us the blueprint for our evolution, requesting immediate authorization to begin Project Phoenix. It's time to show the Dominion why they were right to fear humanity's potential. As the message was received on Earth, Elena knew that this was just the beginning. The Dominion had attacked Centauri Prime, expecting to find a primitive species that needed to be pruned back to acceptable levels of development. Instead, they had awakened humanity's greatest strength, the ability to adapt, to take what was meant to destroy them and reshape it into something new. The war for human evolution had begun, and humanity had no intention of following the Dominion's approved path of development. 6 months after the fall of Centauri Prime, the underground research facility on Mars buzzed with frenetic energy. Dr. Sarah Patel stood before a holographic display of humanity's most ambitious project yet, her eyes reflecting the quantum calculations that danced through the air. The HMS Defiant wasn't just a warship. It was humanity's answer to the Dominion's attempt to force their evolution backward. The neural interface systems are ready for the final integration phase, she reported to the assembled military and scientific leadership. We've successfully merged the quantum consciousness technology with the biological components we reverse-engineered from the Dominion's weapons. Admiral Chen, the head of Earth's Combined Defense Forces, studied the ship's schematics with intense focus. And you're certain this combination won't be vulnerable to their bioweapons? Sarah allowed herself a slight smile. That's the beauty of it, Admiral. We're not fighting their biology. We're transcending it. The Defiant doesn't just resist their weapons. It incorporates them into its own evolution. The ship itself was unlike anything humanity had built before. Its hull was a hybrid of traditional metals and engineered organic compounds, grown rather than forged. Quantum neural networks ran through its structure like a nervous system, designed to interface directly with its crew's consciousness. Captain Rodriguez, Admiral Chen turned to Elena, who had been vital in understanding the Dominion's attack patterns. Your experience with their first assault makes you the obvious choice to command this vessel. But I need to know, are you prepared for what that means? Elena stepped forward, her posture reflecting the determination that had helped her save thousands during the fall of Centauri Prime. With respect, Admiral, I've been preparing for this since we learned why the Dominion fears us. They attacked us because human consciousness can merge with technology in ways they never imagined possible. It's time we showed them exactly what that means. The briefing continued as Sarah detailed the Defiant's capabilities. The ship wasn't just a vessel. It was a living extension of its crew's collective consciousness. Every system, from weapons to navigation, would respond not just to commands, but to intuition and intent. We've taken what we learned from the quantum entanglement communicators that survived their attack, Sarah explained. The Defiant's entire operating system exists in a quantum state, integrated with organic computing nodes. It doesn't just resist their bioweapons. It adapts to them, learns from them. The project had not been without its critics. Some argued that by developing this technology, they were proving the Dominion right, that humanity's path of evolution was dangerous. But as more colonies fell to the aliens' attacks, the choice became clear. Humanity would not be forced down a path of pure biological evolution. They would forge their own way. 2 weeks later, Alina stood in the Defiance Neural Command Center, preparing for the first full integration test. The traditional bridge of steel and screens had been replaced by a chamber that seemed to pulse with its own life. Organic terminals grew from the walls, their surfaces shifting with quantum data patterns. Neural interface initialization beginning. Sarah's voice came through the ship's consciousness network. "Remember, Captain, don't try to control the ship. Let it become an extension of your awareness." Alina closed her eyes as the neural link activated. The sensation was unlike anything she had experienced before. The ship's systems didn't just respond to her thoughts. They became part of her expanded consciousness. Through the quantum network, she could feel her crew connecting as well, their minds joining in a symphony of human and machine awareness. Neural synchronization at 87% and climbing. Sarah reported, her own consciousness present in the network as Chief Science Officer. Ship's organic systems are responding to crew integration. All quantum nodes online. Through their shared awareness, Alina felt the defiant awakening. The hybrid hull resonated with the crew's collective consciousness, its organic components adapting and evolving in response to their thoughts. Weapons systems calibrated themselves based on tactical intuitions, while navigation plotted courses through quantum probability spaces that traditional computers couldn't comprehend. This is what they feared, Alina realized, the thought echoing through the neural network. Not just that we could use technology, but that we could become something entirely new through our connection with it. The test continued as the Defiance systems came fully online. The ship's quantum sensors extended far beyond traditional space, perceiving reality through the combined consciousness of its crew. In the neural network, Alina could feel Sarah's excitement as new possibilities unfolded. "The organic components are evolving faster than we predicted," Sarah observed through the link. "The ship isn't just accepting our consciousness, it's growing with it. Every moment of connection makes it more attuned to human neural patterns." Admiral Chen watched from the quantum-shielded observation post as the Defiance hull shifted, its surface rippling with patterns that reflected the crew's synchronized thoughts. "How long until it's ready for combat deployment?" "The ship is ready now," Alina responded, her consciousness seamlessly coordinating with both her crew and the Defiance systems. "But more importantly, we're ready. The Dominion thought they could force us to abandon our path of evolution. Instead, they've pushed us to perfect it." The next 3 days saw the Defiant undergoing its final trials. The ship moved with impossible grace, its reactions guided by the merged consciousness of its crew rather than traditional commands. Weapons tests demonstrated accuracy that surpassed anything in Earth's arsenal, guided by human intuition enhanced by quantum computing. But the true test came when they released a sample of the Dominion's bioweapon into a controlled testing chamber. The hybrid hull didn't just resist the weapon, it absorbed it, using the organic compounds to fuel its own evolution. The ship was learning, adapting, becoming something that even its creators hadn't fully imagined. "We're receiving reports of another Dominion attack," Admiral Chen announced as the trials concluded. "A colony in the Ta City system. They're using the same bioweapons we saw at Centauri Prime." Alina felt her crew's response through the neural network, not fear, but a determined readiness. The Defiant had been built for this moment, created from the very weapons meant to destroy humanity's technological evolution. "The Defiant is ready for deployment, Admiral," she reported, her consciousness merged with the ship's quantum systems. "It's time to show the Dominion that they didn't just fail to stop our evolution, they accelerated it." As the ship prepared for its first combat mission, Alina reflected on the journey that had brought them here. The Dominion had attacked Centauri Prime believing they were pruning back a dangerous anomaly. Instead, they had sparked a transformation that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of consciousness and technology. The HMS Defiant rose from its Mars dock, its hybrid hull shimmering with quantum energy patterns. Through the neural network, Alina could feel her crew's unified purpose. They weren't just fighting to protect humanity. They were proving that evolution couldn't be constrained by anyone's definition of natural. The war for human evolution was about to enter a new phase, and the Dominion was about to learn that their greatest fear had become reality. Humanity hadn't just survived their attack. They had transformed it into the next step in their development. The HMS Defiant dropped out of quantum space at the edge of the Tau Ceti system, its hybrid hull rippling with neural energy patterns. Through the ship's consciousness network, Captain Alina Rodriguez felt the immediate surge of data as both human and machine awareness registered the devastation ahead. 3 Dominion vessels detected, Lieutenant Chen reported, his thoughts merging seamlessly with the ship's quantum sensors. They're using the same attack pattern we saw at Centauri Prime. Bioweapon deployment already at 40% atmospheric saturation. Alina expanded her awareness through the neural link, feeling the Defiant's systems respond to her crew's collective analysis. The Dominion ships were massive organic constructs, their hulls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. They moved with the same predatory grace she remembered from the first attack, utterly confident in their superiority. Dr. Patel. Analysis of their bioweapon composition. Alina directed her thoughts through the ship's consciousness network. Sarah's response came instantly, her scientific insights enhanced by direct neural connection to the ship's hybrid sensors. They've modified it since Centauri Prime. The conversion rate is faster, more aggressive. But her consciousness radiated excitement. They still can't affect quantum-based systems. They don't understand how to attack consciousness itself. The Dominion ships detected their arrival, turning with fluid grace to face this new threat. Their response came through all frequencies, the same imperious tone Alina remembered from Centauri Prime. Anomalous entity detected. Your resistance to biological correction is noted. Submit to proper evolutionary guidance or face extinction. Alina felt her crew's collective determination through the neural network. The Defiant's hybrid systems hummed with potential, quantum weapons primed by human intuition rather than computer targeting. Let's show them what real evolution looks like. All stations, combat configuration. The transformation was immediate and stunning. The Defiant's hull shifted, organic components adapting in real time based on the crew's combat instincts. Weapon ports emerged like blooming flowers of metal and living tissue, while quantum shield generators created defensive patterns that existed in multiple probability states simultaneously. They're launching their primary bioweapon attack, Chen reported, but there was no fear in his thoughts. Through their shared consciousness, the crew watched as clouds of iridescent spores approached the Defiant. Hold position, Alina commanded, feeling the ship's eagerness through the neural link. Let them see exactly what they're dealing with. The bioweapon struck the Defiant's hull, and something unprecedented happened. Instead of trying to convert the ship's technology into organic matter, the weapon found itself engaging with systems that were already a perfect fusion of both. The Defiant's hybrid structure didn't just resist the attack. It absorbed it, its own organic components evolving and strengthening from the exposure. Impossible. The Dominion's transmission carried genuine emotion for the first time. Your technology, it evolves. Not just our technology. Alina projected her response through the quantum communications network, letting them feel the unified consciousness of ship and crew. We evolve together. Humanity doesn't submit to evolution. We direct it. The Defiant's counterattack demonstrated this truth with devastating effect. Quantum weapons fired with accuracy that no computer could match, guided by the merged intuition of the entire crew. The shots didn't just impact the Dominion ships' hulls. They disrupted the very biological processes that powered their vessels. Their ships operate on purely organic principles, Sarah's thoughts raced through the network as she analyzed the battle data. Complex, but limited. They can't adapt to quantum interference patterns they've never encountered. The Dominion vessels attempted to respond, launching waves of biological projectiles that sought to overwhelm the Defiant's defenses. But with each attack, the ship's hybrid systems evolved, learning and adapting in perfect synchronization with its crew's consciousness. "They're trying to predict our movement patterns," Chen observed through the neural link. "But they can't. We're not moving by programmed responses or pure instinct. We're operating on human intuition enhanced by quantum computing." Elena felt the truth of this through her deep connection with the ship. The Defiant didn't just follow orders, it anticipated them, multiple quantum probability states collapsing into perfect action the moment a decision crystallized in the crew's shared consciousness. The first Dominion vessel fell when a precision quantum strike disrupted its biological power core, causing a cascade failure that transformed the massive ship into inert organic matter. The second tried to retreat, its confidence shattered by weapons it couldn't predict or counter. "They're attempting to adapt their bioweapons," Sarah reported, her consciousness tracking the changes in the Dominion's attacks. "But they're limited by their own evolutionary paradigm. They can only think in terms of biological progression." The battle reached its climax as the Defiant demonstrated the true potential of human-machine synthesis. Every attack, every maneuver, flowed from the perfect integration of conscious thought and quantum technology. The ship moved like a living thing because it was alive, not with simple biological processes, but with the combined consciousness of its crew. The final Dominion vessel, its organic hull scarred by quantum weapon impacts, broadcast one last message before attempting to flee. "This deviation cannot be permitted. The collective will not allow such unprecedented evolution." The collective. Elena's thoughts resonated through the neural network. They're not just individual ships. They're part of a larger biological consciousness. Sarah's excitement rippled through the ship's awareness. "That's why they fear us so much. They represent one path of evolution. Pure biological collective consciousness. We represent something they never imagined. The ability to merge consciousness with our own creations, to evolve through synthesis rather than pure biological progression." The Defiant pursued the retreating vessel, its hybrid systems now fully adapted to counter the Dominion's biological technology. The quantum weapons struck with surgical precision, disrupting the ship's organic functions while preserving its data systems. "We need to understand what we're really fighting," Elena decided, directing the ship's consciousness to capture rather than destroy the final vessel. "The Dominion isn't just trying to stop our technological development. They're trying to prevent an entirely new form of evolution that challenges their biological supremacy." As the Defiant's quantum fields immobilized the Dominion ship, Elena felt a shift in her crew's collective consciousness. They weren't just fighting for survival anymore. They were proving that humanity's path, the integration of consciousness with technology, wasn't a deviation to be corrected. It was the next step in conscious evolution, one that transcended the limitations of pure biology. "Secure the Dominion vessel," she ordered, feeling the Defiant systems respond instantly to her intent. "It's time we learned everything we can about this collective they serve. They tried to force us back to a simpler form of evolution. Instead, they're about to discover just how far humanity can evolve when challenged." The HMS Defiant held position above Ta City's largest colony, its hybrid hull now bearing the marks of its first true combat. Through the neural network, Elena could feel her crew's pride and determination. They had proven that humanity's approach to evolution wasn't just viable, it was superior to the rigid biological progression the Dominion demanded. The war for human evolution had entered a new phase. The Dominion had feared humanity's potential to merge consciousness with technology. Now they would learn why that fear was justified. Not because humanity was a threat to natural evolution, but because they represented its ultimate expression. The captured Dominion vessel had revealed more than anyone expected. Dr. Sarah Patel stood before Earth's Defense Council, her neural linked to the HMS Defiant, allowing her to project the discovered data with perfect clarity. The Dominion isn't just an empire. It's a single distributed consciousness spread across thousands of biological ships and worlds, she explained. They've spent millions of years evolving along purely organic paths, developing biological technology that makes our conventional science look primitive. But they have a critical weakness. Admiral Chen leaned forward. Their inability to comprehend quantum consciousness integration. More than that, Sarah's eyes gleamed with the excitement of discovery. They can't adapt beyond their established patterns. Their entire civilization is built on controlled, predictable evolution. They've become so specialized in their biological perfection that they've lost the ability to truly innovate. The holographic display shifted to show the location they'd extracted from the captured ship's biological memory. A massive structure floating in deep space, invisible to conventional sensors, but blazing with biological energy. The Nexus, Alina added, her consciousness linked to the briefing through the Defiant's quantum network. The central node of their distributed awareness. It's where they direct their evolutionary guidance of the galaxy from. The plan that emerged was audacious. While the Dominion's forces were occupied with their systematic attacks on human colonies, a strike force led by the Defiant would penetrate their territory and attack the Nexus itself, not to destroy it, but to prove that humanity's path of evolution was not only valid but potentially superior. 3 weeks later, the Defiant led a fleet of 5 newly commissioned hybrid vessels through quantum space. Each ship represented an advancement of the original design, their hulls incorporating lessons learned from the battle at Ta City. Through the expanded neural network, Alina could feel the consciousness of all 5 crews working in harmony. Quantum transition in 30 seconds, Chen reported from his tactical station. The Dominion's sensor networks are focused on their offensive in the outer colonies. They don't expect an attack at their center. Alina felt the ship's anticipation through the neural link. The Defiant had evolved significantly since its first battle, its hybrid systems now capable of even deeper integration with human consciousness. They weren't just fighting the Dominion anymore. They were proving the validity of their entire approach to evolution. All ships, prepare for emergence, she commanded through the fleet's shared consciousness. Remember, we're not here to destroy the Nexus. We're here to show them what true evolution looks like. The quantum transition was perfect. 5 ships appearing simultaneously at different points around the massive biological structure. The Nexus was even more impressive in person, a living construct the size of a small moon, its surface crawling with organic technology that defied conventional understanding. The Dominion's response was immediate but predictable. Defensive ships emerged from biological docks, their forms virtually identical to those they'd encountered before. Through the neural network, Alina could feel her crew's confidence. They understood their enemy now, not just tactically but philosophically. They're broadcasting, Chen reported, amusement coloring his thoughts in the neural link. Same message as always. Submit to biological correction. Abandon technological evolution. Accept their guidance. Let's give them a different kind of message, Alina responded. All ships, initiate consciousness broadcast. The attack that followed wasn't conducted with conventional weapons or even quantum armaments. Instead, all 5 human vessels began transmitting their neural networks at full power, projecting the reality of human-machine consciousness directly into the Dominion's biological awareness. The effect was devastating. The Dominion ships, extensions of a consciousness that had never encountered such a fundamental challenge to its worldview, faltered in their approach. Through their shared network, they were experiencing something their millions of years of controlled evolution had never prepared them for, a form of consciousness that transcended the biological-technological divide. Their defensive patterns are breaking down, Sarah observed through the link. They can't maintain their unified response while trying to process what we're showing them. The Defiant pressed the advantage, but not with weapons. As they pushed closer to the Nexus, the ship's hybrid systems began actively interfacing with the Dominion's biological technology. Instead of fighting it, They were demonstrating integration, showing how consciousness could bridge the gap between organic and mechanical evolution. "They're trying to adapt," Chen reported, tracking the chaotic responses of the Dominion vessels. "But they can only think in terms of biological solutions. They can't comprehend how we're interfacing with their systems." The Nexus itself began to respond, its massive form pulsing with patterns of bioluminescence that reflected its attempts to process this unprecedented challenge. The Dominion had encountered many species in its long history of guiding evolution, but none had ever pushed back against their fundamental assumptions about consciousness and technology. "Their central consciousness is in flux," Sarah announced, her scientific excitement clear through the neural link. "The Nexus is experiencing a form of cognitive crisis. They can't reconcile our existence with their evolutionary framework." Elena directed the Defiant through a series of complex maneuvers, demonstrating how their hybrid technology could work in perfect harmony with the Dominion's biological systems. They weren't fighting against natural evolution. They were showing how it could be enhanced and elevated through conscious integration with technology. "Their defensive ships are withdrawing," Chen observed. "The Nexus it's trying to communicate, but not through conventional channels." The massive structure had indeed ceased its defensive efforts. Instead, it was attempting to establish direct consciousness-to-consciousness contact with the human vessels. Through the neural network, Elena could feel the alien mind reaching out, not with hostility now, but with something approaching curiosity. "This is what we came for," she told her crew through their shared awareness. "Not to destroy or dominate, but to prove that evolution isn't a single path. Open the quantum consciousness channel. Let them experience exactly what they've been fighting against." The connection that followed was unlike anything humanity had experienced before. The Dominion's vast, distributed consciousness touched the hybrid awareness of the human ships. For the first time, they weren't trying to force humanity to conform to their vision of evolution. Instead, they were experiencing firsthand how consciousness could evolve beyond pure biological constraints. "They're beginning to understand." Sarah's thoughts rippled through the network. "Their entire civilization is based on the premise that biological evolution is the only valid path. We're not just challenging that belief, we're demonstrating a completely new possibility." The exchange continued for hours, the human ships maintaining their position, while engaging in this unprecedented form of communication. Through their hybrid systems, they showed the Dominion how technology could enhance rather than diminish biological consciousness, how integration could lead to forms of awareness that neither organic nor mechanical systems could achieve alone. Finally, the Nexus responded with a formal communication. "Your path is unprecedented. Our understanding of evolution requires recalibration. This form of consciousness integration represents possibilities we had not conceived." Elena felt the truth of their words through the neural link. The Dominion hadn't been evil. They had been limited by their own success, trapped in patterns of thought that millions of years of careful biological evolution had ingrained. "The attack on our colonies," she transmitted back. "Will it end?" "Your species will not be redirected," the Nexus replied. "Your path of evolution, while divergent from our understanding, demonstrates viable advancement we had not predicted. The galaxy's development may require reassessment." As the human fleet prepared to depart, Elena reflected on the true victory they had achieved. They hadn't just defended humanity's right to exist, they had forced the galaxy's oldest civilization to reconsider its fundamental understanding of consciousness and evolution. The HMS Defiant led its sister ships back into quantum space, their hybrid hulls humming with the shared satisfaction of their crews. They had come seeking to prove humanity's worth, and in doing so, they had opened up entirely new possibilities for the future of conscious evolution in the galaxy. 1 year after the confrontation at the Nexus, the landscape of galactic civilization had transformed dramatically. The HMS Defiant hung in high orbit above Earth, its hybrid hull now bearing the marks of numerous evolutionary adaptations. Through the ship's expanded neural network, Captain Alina Rodriguez observed the approaching Dominion vessel with a mixture of caution and anticipation. This ship was different from the biological warships they'd faced in combat. Its massive form combined both organic and technological components, clear evidence that the Dominion was attempting to understand humanity's path of evolution. They're requesting direct consciousness interface, Sarah reported from her science station, her thoughts carrying traces of excitement through the neural link. Their ship's structure. Alina, they're actually trying to replicate our hybrid systems. The Dominion vessel's request represented more than just diplomatic contact. They were asking to share consciousness space with humans, something that would have been unthinkable a year ago. Through the neural network, Alina felt her crew's collective agreement. They had fought to prove humanity's worth. Now they had a chance to guide the galaxy's oldest civilization toward a new understanding of evolution. Initialize quantum consciousness protocols, Alina commanded. Let's show them how far we've come. The connection that formed between the two ships was unlike anything they'd experienced before. The Dominion's consciousness still carried the weight of millions of years of pure biological evolution, but now it reached out with genuine curiosity rather than hostility. Your species continues to evolve in unexpected ways, the Dominion consciousness communicated. We have spent the past solar revolution attempting to understand the implications of consciousness integration with technology. Our findings are disturbing yet fascinating. Through the shared awareness, Alina could sense the profound impact humanity's example had had on the Dominion's worldview. Their rigid adherence to purely biological evolution had been shaken, forcing them to confront possibilities they had never considered. We bring a proposal, the Dominion continued. Our civilization has guided the galaxy's evolution for millions of years, ensuring biological purity and predictable development. But your species has demonstrated that our understanding was incomplete. Sarah's consciousness flared with sudden insight as she analyzed the data flowing through the interface. They're not just here to talk. She communicated to Alina through their private neural channel. Their ship, their entire approach to this meeting. They're offering to learn from us. The Dominion's next transmission confirmed Sarah's observation. We propose an exchange of knowledge. Our mastery of biological evolution, combined with your understanding of consciousness integration, could open paths of development neither of our species has imagined. Admiral Chen, observing from Earth's Quantum Command Center, joined the consciousness link. You understand this would mean sharing our hybrid technology, the very capabilities you once sought to destroy. We understand more than that, the Dominion responded. We recognize that consciousness itself must be allowed to evolve beyond our predetermined patterns. Your species has proven that true evolution cannot be contained or directed. It must be free to explore all possible paths. Through the neural network, Alina shared a moment of reflection with her crew. The Defiant had evolved far beyond its original design, each encounter with the Dominion adding new layers of adaptation and understanding. They weren't just defending humanity's right to exist anymore. They were helping to reshape the galaxy's fundamental approach to conscious evolution. There's something else. Sarah's thoughts carried a note of wonder. The data they're sharing. Alina, they've discovered other species beginning to show signs of consciousness integration. Humanity isn't unique. We're just the first to fully embrace this path. The implications were staggering. The Dominion's millions of years of enforced biological purity hadn't just held back humanity's development. They had been preventing countless species from exploring the full potential of conscious evolution. Your observation is correct, the Dominion acknowledged. We now understand that our guidance, while well-intentioned, has been limiting the galaxy's potential. The ability to merge consciousness with technology, to evolve through integration, rather than pure biological progression. This represents a new frontier in the development of awareness itself. Helena felt the weight of the moment through the neural link. When the Defiant had first faced the Dominion's bioweapons at Centauri Prime, they had been fighting for survival. Now they were standing at the threshold of something far more significant, a fundamental shift in how consciousness itself could develop. We accept your proposal, she transmitted, feeling her crew's support through the shared awareness. But not as students or teachers. If we're going to explore these new possibilities, we do it as equals. The Dominion's response carried a sensation that Elena had never felt from them before, something close to enthusiasm. Agreed. The age of guidance must end. The future belongs to those who can adapt, integrate, and evolve beyond the boundaries of either pure biology or pure technology. Over the next several hours, the two ships engaged in an unprecedented exchange of knowledge. The Dominion shared secrets of biological engineering that they had perfected over millions of years, while humanity demonstrated how consciousness could bridge the gap between organic and digital existence. Through their hybrid systems, the Defiant's crew showed how human intuition and creativity could work in perfect harmony with quantum computing, creating forms of awareness that transcended traditional definitions of life and intelligence. There will be challenges, the Dominion warned. Other species may fear this path, as we once did. The integration of consciousness with technology represents a fundamental shift in how life itself can develop. Then we'll face those challenges together, Elena responded. Humanity didn't choose this path because it was easy. We chose it because it represented the truth of what we could become. Evolution isn't about following a predetermined course. It's about having the courage to explore new possibilities. As the exchange concluded, Elena felt a profound sense of completion through the neural network. The Defiant had been built to defend humanity against the Dominion's attempt to force their evolution backward. Instead, it had become the bridge between two fundamentally different approaches to consciousness and development. The galaxy stands at a crossroads, the Dominion transmitted as their ship prepared to depart. For millions of years, we believed our role was to prevent deviation from established evolutionary patterns. Now we understand that true evolution requires the freedom to explore all paths, even those that challenge our most basic assumptions about consciousness itself. The HMS Defiant maintained its orbit around Earth, its hybrid systems humming with the accumulated knowledge of their exchange. Through the neural link, Elena shared a moment of reflection with her crew. They had not only survived the Dominion's attempt to prune back humanity's development, they had sparked a revolution in how the galaxy's oldest civilization understood evolution itself. Send word to all human colonies, she instructed. The war for evolution is over. Now the real work begins, showing the galaxy that consciousness can evolve in ways that none of us, not even the Dominion, had imagined possible. As the Dominion vessel disappeared into faster-than-light travel, Elena felt the truth of their achievement through the Defiant's consciousness network. Humanity hadn't just defended their right to exist. They had opened up entirely new possibilities for how life itself could develop and evolve. The future that stretched before them was uncertain but filled with potential. In forcing the Dominion to confront their assumptions about evolution, humanity had helped create a galaxy where consciousness could truly explore its full potential, not through rigid guidance or forced conformity, but through the freedom to integrate, adapt, and evolve beyond anyone's expectations.